You are not losing money because the market is against you. You are losing money because you are trading the wrong time frame for who you are right now. Not wrong because it does not work. Wrong because you have not mastered it. You are jumping between the 5-minute chart, the 15-minute chart, the 1-hour chart, the 4-hour chart, and the daily chart, thinking more options mean more opportunity. They do not. More options mean more confusion, more noise, more reasons to hesitate, react, and lose discipline. The market does not reward activity, it rewards precision, and precision is impossible when your attention is scattered across too many time frames. The 1-hour chart is the most misunderstood time frame in trading. Almost nobody talks about it seriously, yet almost everyone who is consistently profitable relies on it in one way or another. It is not too fast like the 5-minute chart, where every emotional twitch pulls you into bad decisions. It is not too slow like the daily chart, where progress feels distant and patience collapses. The 1-hour chart sits in the middle. It filters noise while still giving you enough repetition to build real skill. But trading the 1-hour chart randomly will not save you. Consistency on this time frame comes from structure, not motivation, from rules, not excitement. There are specific steps that separate random 1-hour trading from systematic consistency. These are not theories. These are actions you can apply immediately, and everything starts with the first step. The first step is choosing one session and trading only that session, not the entire day, not whenever you feel like it. One specific 3-hour window. 3 1-hour candles. That is your entire trading day. Most traders misunderstand what trading the 1-hour chart means. They think it means trading all day, just on a higher time frame. That is false. That is still overtrading. You are still watching too much. You are still reacting to movements that do not matter. Trading the 1-hour chart does not mean trading every hour. It means specializing in a specific window where behavior repeats. For some, that is the New York session. For others, it may be London, but it must be one, not all. Every session has its own personality, its own rhythm, its own traps. First hour of New York does not behave like the last hour. The Asian session does not move like London. If you trade all sessions on the 1-hour chart, you are learning multiple games at the same time. You will never master any of them. When you trade only one session, something changes. You stop guessing. You begin recognizing behavior. You see the same patterns appear again and again. You understand when volatility expands and when it contracts. You know when fake moves happen and when real ones begin. After months of watching the same 3 candles form every day, intuition starts to develop. But it is not intuition based on emotion. It is intuition based on repetition. If your setup does not appear in those 3 hours, you do not trade. You wait until tomorrow. That discipline is not a restriction. It is your edge. Most traders lose because they believe they must be active all day to make money. They do not. They need to be precise in one window. The ability to do nothing when your session does not deliver is what builds consistency. The second step is defining one setup that actually belongs on the 1-hour chart. Not 5 setups, not variations. 1. Most traders make the mistake of taking 5-minute setups and stretching them onto the 1-hour chart. That does not work. The 1-hour chart is not a slower version of the 5-minute chart. It represents a different group of participants. The 5-minute chart shows emotional reactions. The 1-hour chart shows where larger players are positioning. Your setup must respect 1-hour structure. It must be slow, clear, and obvious. For many traders, a pullback into structure works best. A clear, higher time frame trend, followed by a 1-hour retracement into a key level, then a rejection. No chasing, no guessing, no forcing entries. One pattern repeated hundreds of times. The power of one setup is not in the setup itself. It is in familiarity. When you take the same setup again and again, you stop reacting emotionally. You stop improvising. You begin comparing the current situation to past examples. You know when it looks strong. You know when it looks weak. This depth of understanding is impossible if you keep switching strategies. One setup for 6 months will teach you more than 10 setups over 3 years. Expertise beats variety every time. Anything that is not your setup is noise. Let it go.
Trading is not about catching every move, it is about executing one idea perfectly.
The third step is alignment with higher time frames. This is where most 1-hour traders fail. The 1-hour chart can show a beautiful setup, but if the 4-hour daily chart does not support it, the trade is fighting the larger structure. It may work occasionally, but over time it will drain your account. The rule is simple. The 1-hour setup must align with the 4-hour direction. If the 4-hour chart is trending up, you only look for longs on the 1-hour. If it is trending down, you only look for shorts. If it is ranging, you reduce activity or step aside. This single filter removes a massive number of low-quality trades. Higher time frames show where real money is positioned. Institutions do not trade the 1-hour chart directly. They trade the daily. But their actions create structure on the 4-hour chart, which then produces opportunities on the 1-hour. When you align with that flow, you stop fighting the market. You stop forcing trades. You start participating in moves that have support behind them. This alignment alone can transform your results, not because your setup improved, but because your context did. Many traders already have decent strategies. They just apply them in the wrong direction. Fix that, and everything changes. Third step naturally leads to the fourth, and this is where many traders sabotage themselves without realizing it. Risk management on the 1-hour chart must respect 1-hour structure, not 5-minute logic, not fear-based numbers, not random dollar amounts. If you are trading the 1-hour chart, you must accept 1-hour volatility. There is no shortcut around this. Your stop loss must be placed where the 1-hour structure is invalidated, not where you feel comfortable. If you are buying a pullback into 1-hour support, your stop belongs below that support with enough room for a full 1-hour candle to breathe. This distance will often feel large to traders who are used to scalping. That discomfort is not a problem. It is a requirement. The mistake amateurs make is trying to trade higher time frames with lower time frame stops. They see a 1-hour setup, but they place a tight stop based on a 5-minute candle because they are afraid of loss. The market then moves naturally within 1-hour volatility, stops them out, and later moves exactly as expected. Their analysis was correct. Their execution was wrong. When you respect 1-hour structure, your stop placement becomes logical instead of emotional. You are no longer guessing. You are no longer trying to avoid loss. You are accepting it as part of the process. And when you pair this with fixed percentage risk, something powerful happens. Every trade becomes equal. No trade is special. No trade deserves more risk because it looks better. No trade deserves less risk because you feel uncertain. Risk the same percentage every single time. 1%, 2%. Whatever you choose, it must never change. If you increase risk because a setup looks perfect, you are gambling. If you decrease risk because you are scared, you are sabotaging your statistics. Consistency in results comes from consistency in risk. This step alone eliminates overtrading. Overtrading is often a symptom of trying to force small stops on large time frames. When you accept proper 1-hour risk, you naturally become more selective. You stop chasing mediocre setups just to find tighter stops. You wait for trades that deserve the risk you are willing to take. The fifth step is review, and this is where discipline is either reinforced or destroyed. Most traders review incorrectly. They analyze every tick. They obsess over why price moved. They replay losses emotionally. This does nothing but weaken confidence and invite overthinking. Your review should happen once, at the end of your session, not after every trade, not during the trade. When your 3-hour window closes, you ask yourself 5 simple questions. Did I trade only my session? Did I take only my setup? Did I confirm higher time frame alignment? Did I use 1-hour structure for my stop? Did I risk my fixed amount? That is the entire review. Yes or no? If you followed all 5 steps, the trade was successful regardless of outcome. If you broke a rule, you note which one and focus on correcting it tomorrow. You do not punish yourself. You do not modify the system. You correct execution. This process shifts your focus from outcome to process. Most traders are obsessed with profit and loss. Professionals are obsessed with execution. Profits are a side effect of correct behavior repeated over time. When you review correctly, you stop trying to control the market. You start controlling yourself. Review. Viewing only once prevents overanalysis. Overanalysis is what causes traders to constantly change rules, add indicators, and abandon strategies that were working. They confuse normal losses with system failure. A clean review process protects you from that trap. Over time, this simple review builds a powerful data set. You will see patterns clearly. When you followed all 5 steps, your results were consistent. When you skipped one, your performance dropped. The data will teach you what matters, but only if you keep the process clean and unemotional. Here is what happens when you commit to this framework. Your trading slows down. Your stress decreases. Your confidence stabilizes. You stop chasing every move and start waiting for your moment. Instead of trading 20 times a week, you trade 2 or 3 times with clarity. Instead of guessing, you execute. Mastery does not come from doing more. It comes from doing less, better. 1 time frame, 1 session, 1 setup, 1 filter, 1 risk model, 1 review. That simplicity is not weakness, it is strength. Most traders fail because they refuse to simplify. They believe complexity equals sophistication. It does not. Complexity hides fear. Simplicity exposes discipline. The 1-hour chart forces you to confront yourself. It removes excuses. It removes urgency. It demands patience. The 1-hour chart is slow enough to protect you from impulsive decisions, yet fast enough to give you feedback. It is structured enough to respect institutional flow, yet flexible enough to build skill. When combined with these 5 steps, it becomes a powerful tool for consistency. Look at your current trading honestly. How many time frames are you watching? How many sessions? How many setups? Too many. That is not ambition. That is avoidance. You are avoiding commitment to one process because commitment forces accountability. Cut it down, strip it back, choose 1 session, define 1 setup, align with higher time frames, risk based on structure, review once at the end. Do this every day for months, not weeks, months. Consistency is not achieved by searching for something new. It is achieved by repeating something simple until it becomes automatic. The 1-hour chart gives you the environment to do exactly that. If you are willing to slow down, focus, and execute without emotion, it will save you from yourself. When traders fail with the 1-hour chart, it is rarely because the framework does not work. It is almost always because they lack the patience to let it work. The 1-hour chart exposes a trader's character faster than any other time frame. It removes urgency, it removes constant stimulation, and that silence is unbearable for most people. This is where discipline becomes the deciding factor. The 5-step framework works only if you commit to it without exception. Not most days. Not when you feel calm, every day, especially on days when nothing happens. Those are the most important days. Because learning to do nothing when there is nothing to do is a skill, not a personality trait. Most traders think trading is about action. It is not. Trading is about restraint. The 1-hour chart teaches restraint by design. You cannot react quickly. You must wait for candles to close. You must wait for structure to form. You must wait for alignment. This waiting is not wasted time. It is the cost of consistency. Once you truly accept this, something changes internally. You stop feeling pressure to trade. You stop feeling late. You stop feeling like opportunity is running away from you. You understand that opportunity is cyclical. It will appear again tomorrow, next week, next month. The market is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process. This mindset is what separates professionals from amateurs. Amateurs feel urgency because they believe each trade matters too much. Professionals feel calm because they understand no single trade matters at all. Only execution matters. Only repetition matters. Only survival matters. The 1-hour chart reinforces this lesson by slowing everything down. It forces you to see the market as a sequence of probabilities, not a series of emotional events. Each trade becomes just one data point in a long series. Wins do not excite you. Losses do not shake you. They are both expected outcomes. This emotional neutrality is not something you are born with. It is built. And the 1-hour chart is one of the best training grounds for building it. When you trade lower time frames, you are constantly stimulated. That stimulation feeds impulsive behavior. On the 1-hour chart, impulses lose power because there is time between decisions. That time gap is where growth happens. When you feel the urge to enter early, you have time to question it. When you feel fear, you have time to let it pass. When you feel boredom, you have time to recognize it instead of acting on it. This is why higher time frames create better traders. Another transformation happens when you commit to one setup for an extended period. You stop evaluating trades individually and start evaluating patterns. You recognize context. You understand when a setup is strong and when it is weak. This intuition is not emotional. It is experiential. It comes from repetition. Most traders never reach this level because they change too often. They never allow their brain to build pattern recognition. They keep resetting the learning curve. The 1-hour chart rewards those who stay long enough to see hundreds of similar situations. That familiarity creates confidence that no indicator can provide. Confidence built this way is stable. It does not depend on recent wins. It does not disappear after losses. It exists because you know what you are doing. You know your statistics. You know your process. And that knowledge makes you unshakable. At this stage, trading becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. You show up at the same time every day. You watch the same session. You look for the same setup. You apply the same filter. You risk the same amount. You review the same way. There is no decision fatigue, no improvisation, no chaos. This routine turns trading into a profession instead of an emotional roller coaster. It removes drama, and drama is the enemy of consistency. The market does not reward excitement. It rewards repetition. Many traders resist this approach because it feels boring. And that is exactly the point. Boring trading is profitable trading. Exciting trading is gambling. If you crave stimulation, the market will happily take your money in exchange for entertainment. The 1-hour chart offers something rare in trading: space. Space to think, space to wait, space to act deliberately. When you learn to operate in that space, you stop reacting and start executing. There is also a deeper psychological shift that occurs. You stop identifying with individual outcomes. You no longer say, "I won" or "I lost." You say, "I executed" or "I broke a rule." Your identity becomes tied to discipline, not results. This shift is critical. When identity is tied to results, emotions control behavior. When identity is tied to process, results take care of themselves. The 1-hour chart supports this identity shift because it removes constant feedback. You are not rewarded or punished every few minutes. You are evaluated over time. This is how consistency is built. Not through intensity, but through endurance. Not through brilliance, but through restraint. Not through prediction, but through alignment. If you apply this framework correctly, something else happens. Your relationship with risk changes. Losses stop feeling threatening. They become operational costs. You stop trying to avoid them and start managing them. This removes fear. And when fear disappears, clarity appears. With clarity comes patience. With patience comes selectivity. With selectivity comes higher quality trades. And with higher quality trades comes consistent profitability. The sequence is inevitable if you do the work. The 5 steps are not complicated. They are uncomfortable. They force you to slow down in a world addicted to speed. They force you to focus in a world addicted to distraction. They force you to wait in a world addicted to action. Most traders will not do this. That is why most traders fail. Not because the information is hidden, but because the discipline is rare. If you want to be part of the minority, stop searching for better strategies. Start executing a simple one flawlessly. The 1 hour chart is not magic. It is a mirror. It reflects your discipline, your patience, and your emotional control. Master it, and you will not only become a better trader, you will become a calmer, more focused, more disciplined decision maker. And that skill transfers far beyond trading. Consistency is not found in complexity. It is found in commitment, one time frame, one process, one mindset, repeated every day without exception. That is how the 1 hour chart works. And that is how you stop guessing and start building real sustainable results.